then guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Toon Tuesdays. Hope you guys are all doing good. The final Toon Tuesday before Christmas. We'll have another one next week, which will be the final one of the year. And then the one after that will be in January. So I think next week we'll probably talk about the January transfer window. But today, I thought I'd take the chance to talk about Eddie Howe. Again, we are out and about today. You can guess where this lovely big house is, do let me know. Yeah, it's been a busy week. As I say, lead up to Christmas, work's been crazy. I managed to fit a little bit of shopping in this morning as well to grab a few bits before it's too late. But yeah, today we're going to talk about Eddie Howe. He has obviously been in the job now for a good few games. A lot of those games have been very tough in the last month. I should say I am facing quite a busy road, so hopefully the audio sounds okay. I was at the game on Sunday where we lost 4-0 against Manchester City, and to my surprise there was quite a lot of criticism going around for Eddie Howe, and I do think the majority of fans, so again let me know down in the comments. I would assume that most Geordies or Newcastle fans are on the same page or similar page that I will be in this video, but on social media quite a lot of people asking the question of, you know, Eddie Howe of why is the defence so poor? Why are we making these mistakes? And why have we not really set the world alight like we would have, well, as we would have hoped? I mean, let's be honest, it was never going to be an easy job for Eddie Howe stepping into this Newcastle team. And we will obviously talk about that a little bit more depth, but you know, people saying, oh, he's come in, he's only won one game against Burnley. You know, we had hope for more than that. And I definitely... In no times where I think that there should be no questions asked. You know, in football, that's the whole point. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone should be questioned on their job. Look at, you know, St. Max. I think there's been some questions about him coming in recently, about his performances. And I spoke about this the other week, and at the end of the day, for me, St. Max is still one of our best players. But he hasn't been performing recently. And just because he's one of our best players and because he can do, you know, some great stuff on the pitch, doesn't mean that he should go without being questioned at all. You know, I think it's right to question someone when they're not doing a great job. Just as it is the other way around. Joe Linton, suddenly, you know, a player who was getting so much stick, you know, for such a long time, and now all of a sudden, he's in people's eyes for the captaincy. You know, so just as it goes the other way, when people are criticised for not doing a good job or questioned for not doing a good job, players should also be praised when they are doing a good job. So I definitely don't think that Eddie Howe shouldn't be questioned at all, but I did think it was worth a chance to almost talk about it a little bit of how I feel like he's done so far, maybe why we haven't performed the way we hoped, and maybe go over that a little bit. So as I say, let me know your thoughts down below on all of that. I think, again, it's such a pressurised situation for us right now because we are in the relegation zone. Eddie Howe came in. You know, we looked at those Burnley and Norwich games as being two big games, which, you know, we drew one with 10 men and we won the other one. So, you know, like, almost 6 points would have been better. It wasn't that bad going. Then we'll come in against a Leicester side who I think a lot of Newcastle fans hoped would be a good game for us, taking on a Leicester side who, you know, had positive cases in the camp, had injuries in the camp. Vardy didn't play. You know, we're going to lose 4-0 with, you know, some more mistakes. Then we're playing Liverpool and Man City, and by all accounts, in my opinion, thought we put in a good shift against both of them. Which is why I was surprised to come out of it again, a 4-0 loss against Manchester City. You know, we've lost the game. I'm not walking out of that match smiling. But, you know, a couple of days later and a little bit of reflection, I thought we did all right. You know, you look at that lineup going into this game, and that's the thing that sparks some questions. But again, I wouldn't put it down Eddie Howe's fault. You know, for me, yes, we've just come out off the back of a 4-0 loss, a 3-1 loss, and another 4-0 loss. And you're going, well, come on. And if you really want to go into it, Would Steve Bruce have done a better job? No. For me, he definitely wouldn't have. Steve Bruce may have played 10 at the back and come away with a 2-0 loss instead of a 4-0. But ultimately, for me, that isn't better. That scoreline isn't better in the long term. Because for me, what we saw in that Manchester City side was a team who did go out and tried to play football. Us sticking 10 at the back isn't learning anything moving forward. You know, we look at the Everton game coming into the new year. We look at the Southampton game after that. And we look at some, what I would say, become our winnable games in January. We've known before the season started how bad December was. So, and that was when Bruce was in charge. You know, we looked at the lineup in the calendar in December and all sat and said, right, well, we're going to get nothing from that month. You know, all of a sudden we get nothing from that month, and then we're questioning Eddie Howe on why we didn't get anything. I think it's too soon, and want to obviously stay positive. We're going into the happy Christmas period, so we're going to smile and say that we are going to be fine at the end of the day. But yeah, I definitely think it's tough. And as I say, going into those games, yes, with Brucey, we might have lost 2-0 and had a slightly better goal deficit. But for me, we've almost used that game as like a training game. I know it's not what we want. We want to go and win these games. We want to try and put some points on the board. But ultimately, and Man City were a bit of a training game as well. Second half, they just passed the ball around us, to be honest. But the point is, we went out there and we tried to actually do something with that game. We tried, and you know, the penalty shout obviously was huge. But we had spells of play. Joe Linton looked good. We weren't great at the back, obviously, which we'll talk about even more in a second. But I did feel like we went out and we tried to play in that game, which will be so much better for us when we play Southampton. When we play Everton, when we play Brentford again, you know, when we play, you know, Norwich and Burnley again, you know, when we go and play Norwich and Burnley, and if we can play the same or give the same effort or try what we did against Man City in those games, I think we've got a really good shout. If we stuck 10 at the back against Liverpool and Man City and did nothing and didn't even practice what we're trying to do and then played those teams, you know, we aren't building anything. So yes, we didn't get the results we wanted, and as I say, that's what I mean. I understand why people are questioning why we did lose badly in those games and why people are questioning Eddie Howe. But for me, he's trying to achieve something here that will benefit us in a month or two's time. He could have gone 10 at the back and done nothing and tried to nick a goal, and it might have worked and it might not have worked, and who knows. But I think the fact that he's trying to build something here and trying to get these players the way he wants to play, as a giant tractor goes by, he's trying to get them at the point where we're playing a certain way and it will have a much better effect come a month's time when we are playing teams where really we should be picking up points. And that's why, for me, this question at the end of December in a fixture list where we expected nothing, let's ask it again at the end of January. And obviously January's the big one as well, isn't it? Because that's the window. We're already linked with Trippier, who, I mean, I'd absolutely rip your arm off to bring him in. I think someone with some experience who knows what he's doing, not only in the league, but just generally as a footballer. You look at that back line, and again, this is something that I have questioned of Eddie Howe, and so has a lot of people, is that back line is poor. Ritchie, Lascelles, Clark, Murphy against Manchester City. You wonder why we conceded 4 goals. Clark's mistake at the back was horrendous for that first goal. And that's the one question I would have, Eddie Howe, is why are we doing that? Why are we still playing Lascelles despite him making constant errors? Why are we playing Clark again after the horrendous penalty he gave away? Why are we still playing him? I asked this question a few weeks ago, but now you look at it, and why did he do it against Man City? He did it because Lewis has got a long-term injury, so he has to play Ritchie. We've got no other left-backs. Why are we playing Clark and Lascelles? Because Fernandes is injured, and I'm pretty sure Shaw had a knock as well, or there was something not right with him. So we're playing our two centre-backs who, to be honest, not many Newcastle fans want on the pitch right now. But that is the only option. Dummett's still out with a long-term injury. Unless we put Hayden at the back, there is no other centre-backs. And then right back, Murphy played instead of Manquillo. As Manquillo got a knock, I'm not sure. I would have definitely played Manquillo had he been fit. So those are my questions to Eddie Howe. Why are we playing these players? And it's because there's no one else to play. Which again brings us on to the fact that, you know, Eddie Howe has been left with a defence. People question, you know, it was an individual error by Clark. Any 12-year-old boy or girl or whatever playing on a Sunday, the ball is dropping in the box, head it out. Head it out. It's not a Premier League thing, it's not a professional footballer thing, it's a Sunday league, Saturday league, 5-a-side if you're allowed overhead height. Head it out. And Clark has left it and they've put it in the net. That isn't Eddie Howe's fault. It's Eddie Howe's fault for picking Clark, but it's not Eddie Howe's fault when he's the only fit centre-back. Eddie Howe is the same back line as Bruce did. Eddie Howe was the same back line as Rafa Benitez did. And he left 5 years ago. So again, I understand it. We had some big deficits in the last game. But there's only so much you can do with a club that hasn't been ran correctly for 14 years and hasn't spent on its defence in 5 or 6 or 7. Yes, it's his fault for picking the players who are making these mistakes, but the mistakes that Clark has made with the red card and letting the ball bounce are both complete individual errors. And I don't think Eddie Howe ever wanted to play Clark again after that penalty issue, but he had to because we had no one else. So now moving into January, we've got a chance here to buy some players and we have some much more winnable games. Look, come the end of February, if we actually do go out and spend and we get to February, March and we still haven't won another game, then I think the questions will be far more right to ask. But at the same time, there's only so much the man can do right now. And even with, again, I like Trippier. I think it will be a really good signing. If Trippier's all we do in the January, I don't think it'll be enough to save it, to be honest. And again, I do think this team still has something there, regardless of whether we spend in January or not. But there is some tough games coming up. And as I say, hopefully, despite us losing these last few, we are trying to build on the way we are playing football and how we're trying to go forward. And if we do it against teams, again, like Southampton in the new year, maybe we'll have a better shot. But January's going to be a massive month for us. As I say, I've no doubt I will be back a lot over the January window talking about transfer rumours. I'm hoping it's not rumours and I'm hoping it's actual signings because that is desperately what we need. But yeah, I've gone on a little bit longer there than I actually planned. So let me know down below what you think of Eddie Howe and how he's done so far. As I say, for me, you know, from what I saw of Bruce from his first 8 games or whatever it was, and what I've seen from Eddie Howe in his last games, we've been better. Yes, Steve Bruce didn't win any. Eddie Howe got 1 win against Burnley and then went on to play Leicester, Liverpool and Man City. We drew against Norwich with a 10-man side. So yes, you could say results-wise, maybe Eddie Howe hasn't really improved us that much. But I would certainly say that football-wise, for someone who goes to the games, you know, every home game and has been trying to get to the away games, although I've not gone to many this month, you can definitely see the improvement. And I'm just hoping if that improvement continues over the next few months, we will be in a much better place. All right, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching as always. I will be back tomorrow because the Premier League have said that the games will go ahead on Boxing Day, which means I will be at the Manchester United game on Monday because that's the day after Boxing Day. But I will be back tomorrow with my full predictions ready for the Boxing Day games. So let me know your thoughts down below on Eddie Howe, obviously on the games that have finished up and how you think Eddie Howe might do in the coming month or so. Again, for me, I think we are improving. I do think the results will come. How quickly those results come also is determined by the transfer window. So it's going to be big. We're going to have to see what happens. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later.